Whoa, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, 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 la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, making our Christmas memories.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is like one of my favorite videos to do during Vlogmas, and that is my Christmas crafting. I'm going to be doing some bead garlands. These are so easy, a great last minute gift. I did 3 different designs to share with you. These literally, once I got the hang of it and got the first one down, they literally only took me like 10 minutes to put together. The tassel is the hardest part, so I will definitely show you how I ended up finding the best way to make the tassel. There's a lot of videos out there about making tassels. First thing I want to do is paint the beads. So I have all these beads that I got from Amazon. I could not find any beads locally, so I just built myself a little like bead painting station using mostly keto crate boxes. I have all my paint, so I have some green, some red, and then some black paint. And I just kind of, I use skewers, you know, like you use for on the grill. So I use skewers, put the different beads on there, and then I'm going to paint them. So I have a box for each of the colors. So I have my black one and just spray them, and then you can just twist them as you're painting them, and you can get all sides. You don't get your hands all messy. I mean, it was such a great hack to do it this way. They came out great. I did it out in my garage, had my garage door open, and just sprayed them. I only had to do 1 coat. They worked really good, and they did not run really bad. So you can see here my black, my red, and my green. So this turned out really well. I have 2 different sides of beads. Actually, the beads I bought, there was one group of beads that had like 5 different sizes. I will link all my beads down below. And then I bought some beads that were buffalo check and also had some words on them. So I will link all of those down below. And here's a little close-up view of all the beads that I got from Amazon. So I have just these regular plain natural color beads, all different sizes. And then I also picked up these colored ones also from Amazon. So you can see these ones have cute little words on them, and I'm going to use those for a couple of the projects. But I plan on making like ornaments with these, but this bead garland was the first thing that I came up with to use. So anyway, I will have all these linked down below. I just wanted to give you kind of a close-up of what these beads look like. So the first thing I did was put all my beads that I wanted to do in my design in a bowl. I did write out my design. I highly recommend that, and then that way you know what order to do in. These are actually Christmas tags. So these are ornaments that I got at Walmart, and I just figured they would be great for this project. You need some twine. I'm using 2 different colors. You don't have to, but I have this red and white twine and this regular twine, and then you'll need a measuring tape just to measure out how long you want your twine to be. Now for this first one, I used one of my beading needles, but I did find it was not necessary. I ended up breaking 2 of them. So I would not recommend these small beading needles. I know you can get some bigger ones, but neither my Joann Fabrics or Michaels had any needles available. So I did do this first one with that needle, and it worked out great, but then I broke the other 2, so I ended up having to improvise, and so I will show you another way to do these. So you just want to measure out however long you need it. Now my base for this, I had a Thanksgiving garland that I bought at Dollar General, and that's what gave me the idea to do this. And so I just measured how long that one was, and that's how I came up with the length. But totally do whatever you want. I think mine ended up being like 26 inches. So this first one, I'm going to do these a couple different ways just as an experiment to see which one I liked better. So this first one, I'm going to attach the tag to the end of this first. And again, like I said, these are ornaments from Walmart. So I got like a packet, like 6 of them. They were super cheap. This is such a cheap project. The beads are really cheap on Amazon. The twine's really cheap. So this is an affordable, easy last minute gift. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie this little ornament here on the end of this. And this will be the end of our little garland here. And now we're just going to start putting our beads on. Like I said, I did, in front of me, you can kind of see where my paper is, I did write out the order. So I kind of laid everything out ahead of time on my table just to see what order I would want everything in. So I did write it all down on a piece of paper. I had like black and white check, natural color, black, red. So whatever order I wanted it in, I did go ahead and write that out. And I was kind of looking at that while I was going along, which I'm glad I did that, because otherwise I think I would have end up redoing it so many times to come up with my pattern. So highly, highly recommend writing out your pattern. So with this needle, it worked out really good with this first one. You just thread everything through, and you just you know, whatever pattern you want to do in. Like I said, I got, I end up using only 2 different sizes of beads out of the packs that I got. So one of the packs I got from Amazon, it had like 5 different sizes in it. I used the largest one, and I think the next step down, I think mine was like 20 millimeters and 16 millimeters is what I end up using. And then the black and white checked ones, I'm pretty sure were 20 millimeters. But just kind of come up with a pattern. I also looked up on Etsy, because people sell these on Etsy all the time, to kind of see what patterns people came up with. And what, you know, colors and stuff people used, and the sizes, mainly for the sizing, because I had no concept of what like a 20 millimeter bead looked like. And so I was really taking a huge chance by ordering those on Amazon, but it was perfect. So again, I will have everything linked down below. I think the pack of like 700 of them was like $13. It was super cheap. So I'm just going to continue threading all these on there, and then we'll move on to the next one. So you are not going to see me make the tassel for this one, because I had a lot of trouble making the tassel on this one. It was my very first tassel ever. I did not practice before making these, but I will show you on this one how I did the tassel. So we're going to go on to our next pattern here, and also another kind of little tip. So I'm using 2 tags for this one, but first we're going to make the tassel, because I decided I want to see if we make the tassel first and have that be the attachment, because that was one of my issues with the other one, was trying to attach the tassel once I finally got it made. So I thought if I make the tassel first and have that be attached to the end of it, and then build onto that tassel side. So you'll see what I'm talking about. So I just have a little makeup compact, because it said to use something, you know, about this size. This is just a small little palette. I would say it's about 4 inches or so. And I'm going to do both the red and white and the regular twine colored. So I'm just going to wrap it around that compact until I get, you know, a pretty good, I mean, I don't know. I was just kind of looking at the thickness to what I thought would be a good thickness for the tassel. Now remember, you're folding in half, so it's going to be twice the amount of what you see there. So then I want to cut off a little tiny piece, because we'll use that to tie it together, you'll see. So there's a ton of different videos out there that are way better than me on how to make a tassel. I watched all of them, and I still had trouble. So I don't know, they make it look so easy on how to make them. Maybe you already know how to do it. So I'm just going to take that off of there, and I'm going to take that little piece of twine that I cut so I can secure this before I cut it. So of course I lost it, because that's how I roll. So we're going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to tie it, just tie a knot on there just to secure that, and then we'll be cutting it after that. Now once you have it nice and securely tied, you want to just go ahead and cut it. And you need really sharp scissors for this, by the way. So now you have your little tassel here. You're going to fold it in half, and then you'll just trim the ends after we get it all done, just to make sure everything's all nice and even. So now what I have to do is we're going to have to do the wrap around the top of it. So I want to go ahead and fold it in half so the colored side is out. Again, you can use whatever you want for this. You could probably even use yarn for this instead of twine. I'm sure that would work just fine. But, you know, I feel like twine goes a little bit better with this type of garland. So I just want to make sure I leave a hole kind of at the top, because I'll be putting some twine through that to make the string for the rest of the beads. So I'm just taking a little bit of twine. I know it's a little bit out of frame. Apologize for that. So we're going to go ahead and just take that twine, and we're just going to wrap it around the top until you have a good amount of thickness, however you want, you know, whatever looks good to you. There was really not a lot of direction on how many times or anything like that. I think it's just really what looks good to you. So once you get your wrapping done, and we'll go ahead and go to the next step. So now that mine's all done, I have my length of twine here I'll be using for my bead project here. So I'm just wrapping that through the hole in the top. I have not trimmed it or anything yet. So we're going to wrap that through the hole, and I'm just going to tie a knot. Now, my plan here was to have a little bit of a piece hanging up, and I was just going to put the bead through it, but there was not enough room for me to do that. If you had a little bit bigger beads, I think it'd work that way. So I did not hide the little string very well, but it still worked out okay. So I just attached my tassel to the end, just tied a knot, attached it to the end. And now what we're going to do, because my needle broke, I had to kind of improvise. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a piece of this electrical tape. You can use whatever kind of tape. This is just the tape that was closest to me. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of tape at the end. So y'all remember when we were little and you had your shoelaces and the shoelaces got messed up and you put tape at the end? I don't know. That's what I did. So I'm just kind of wrapping that around so we have a nice pointy end to be able to put through the beads. So this worked out really well. So again, you can use whatever kind of tape you want unless you have another, way to do this, but this worked out really well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started beading again. Again, I have my pattern all out, written out and ready to go. This one's going to be one that has some little words on the beads. It's super cute. I'll show a close-up of all of these when I am done with them. So I'm just going to continue beading, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different on the end of this one. So on this one, I'm just going to take two of those little ornaments and tie them at the end. So these are just the cutest ornaments, I swear. They're just little wood ornaments. So I'm going to go ahead and take two of them. This one was a little bit hard to get on because the little hole was a little bit smaller than it was. And I thought about it later. I should have just left the twine that was on these, and I could have just used that twine and secured it to the end. I thought about that after I already cut them off, but it still worked out really well. So I'm going to go ahead and tie these to the end, and then we'll have this one all done. With this last one is another, I just wanted to show you another way you can do it. You can just leave the tassel off if you got tired of tassels after two of them like myself. And this one I'm going to have ornaments on both sides. So I'm going to do one ornament on one side, I'll do the beading, and I'll do the other ornament on the other side. It's just another way to do it. You don't have to do the tassel if you're intimidated by the tassel. I just wanted to show you guys that there are different patterns you can do, and you don't have to do a tassel. So I did not with this one, and I really liked how the green turned out on this one. That joy sign right there on that ornament, it has a little bit of green in it, so it actually complemented this one really well. now the finished products. You can do so many things with these. You can decorate with them. You can use them on packages. You can make them a little bit smaller and use them like on a package as like a gift within a gift, you know, type thing. You can put them on your Christmas tree. There's so many things you can do them. I just like to lay them just around my house. I just think they turned out super cute. Even without the tassel, that one is really cute. This is one of my favorite ones, for sure. I really liked the colors and the patterns. Again, go look at Pinterest. I found a ton of different patterns by looking at Pinterest, looking at Etsy. You can find a ton out there just to kind of give you an idea of how you want to do it. This one, though, was probably my absolute favorite. I just love how the black and red looks with the black. I don't know, just turned out so nice. But I plan on making some ornaments and stuff too. I feel like it's going to be a really fun project to do with this beading. It was just so easy.